Are you a coach who knows you have everything it takes to succeed, and the rare sales calls you get on leaves the prospect wondering, why aren't you famous yet? But in spite of all of this, your business isn't thriving and you're seriously beginning to guess if you're cut out for this? Let me tell you, you're not alone. Every single coach, consultant, course creator goes through this exact same thing, this exact phase of their journey. If your sales calls are turning out to be smashing successes, then coaching or transferring your knowledge to other people isn't the problem. The problem is leads. And these three key elements will solve that problem for you. Now, I don't want this to be just another motivational video you saw but didn't take action. So I'm going to use something I call the Bruce Lee method to explain to you what needs to happen and what those three things are. You must have heard the famous Bruce Lee quote saying, "I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I do fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times." And Bruce Lee lived by this quote. And what this quote actually tells us is that consistency and practice is key. Now, let me explain to you what that looks like in business. Growing a business is not linear. You don't go from 0 to 10K to 20K to 100K in a linear fashion. Instead, it's round. It's a circle. So you create an offer or a product that you want to sell, and then you put out content and you put out marketing, and then people come to you, and then you practice the sales muscle. And if you notice, throughout the entire circle, it's about practicing one kick 10,000 times. The one offer, the one pitch, the one sales philosophy, the one approach to content, the one platform you need to be on. And so this reminds me of a client of mine who came from another program to me, and she'd been in that program for a while, but she wasn't getting results. And when I looked deeper, she was doing all the right things, but she wasn't doing them consistently because she had her own story about what that made her look like to other people. The vast majority of people that I see give up right before they're about to hit pay dirt. They give up right before they're about to have a breakthrough. And the reason they give up is essentially something called staying power. Or how many times are you willing to practice the same damn kick before you give up? And giving up can look like a lot of things. The most common way people give up is they give up on the platform. So if someone starts out on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn and they try it out for a while and it doesn't work, they say the platform is not working for them. And so they jump platforms. And here's where the problem lies. You need to put the reps in. You need to put in the practice. You need to do it again and again and again and again until it becomes muscle memory. If you're having those rare sales calls and you're feeling bad about the sales calls, or you're feeling like you could have closed the person but you didn't, that is literally it. That's you putting in the reps. That's you practicing the same kick multitudes of times. I was a very different person on my first sales call. I was a very different person on my 50th. I was a completely different person on my 100th, and I'm an entirely different person after doing more than 1,000 sales calls. You just show up differently. It's like you've trained the muscle on a subconscious level, and so now the skill is acquired. And so more often than not, when people start out in my program, I tell them to get going first before getting good. You can only get good at a kick after practicing it 10,000 times, provided you have the drive and the fortitude and the staying power to be able to practice it 10,000 times without giving up, to then become good at it. Bruce Lee lived by this moniker. And so what this looks like in business is putting out content again and again. Now, a lot of people shy away from creating content. A lot of people shy away from being intentional about content. Their coaches will give them a content plan and they will be like, all right, I gotta get it done. Let me just put this thing out so I don't have to worry about it. Yet other people will get caught up in overthinking the piece of content so much that the time to post it will pass. And so because everything is time sensitive, you might as well not have done it. Consistent, repetitive, learned behavior. A lot of people will get on a couple of sales calls, not be able to close someone and be like, this is not for me. I hate selling to people. I feel scammy. I feel weird. I'm out of here. No, you need to show up and you need to keep making the mistakes until you learn from the mistake and you stop making the mistake. Same thing for content, same thing for sales, same thing for even fulfillment. You might be wondering, well, yeah, I've been consistent. Consistency, is it really true? Is consistency the only thing that's missing from my business? No, consistency is critical, it's vital, it's essential, but it's not the only missing thing. The next thing is adaptability. Bruce Lee had another quote: "Be like water making its way through the cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object and you shall find a way around or through it. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless."
Like water. Now you put water into a cup. it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
And so what this means is lots of people starting out straight away start hiring teams. The problem is, A, they haven't done the kick 10,000 times, so they haven't acquired the skill to be able to lead a team. B, when they get a team, they're not water. Let me explain. When you have a team of people working for you like I do, you, as the business owner, need to step in and do the suckiest thing that nobody else wants to handle, need to be handled by you. Every business starting out has a lot of blanks, and the CEO, the business owner, needs to take personal responsibility for filling in the blanks. You then need to be able to fill in the cracks, film yourself while filling in the cracks, take that recording, give it to your new employees, train other people to be you so that you can get your time back. And this can very well look like literally going into your DMs, setting appointments with people, and then paying your setter for those appointments, although you set them. It's business. It's part of how you train people. Being like water, flowing through the cracks. So take a look at your business right now, see the things that you don't like doing, see the things you're avoiding doing and you're waiting for other people to do. Those are the cracks that need to be filled in by you and eventually somebody else. And perhaps when that somebody else leaves, you again. And then make sure that consistency and adaptability are in place for the next 3 months. It could look like finally launching that one offer that you've been thinking about forever. It could look like finally creating a product that meets the demands of your new avatar. To show how it works, let me share an example of a client who was going through the exact same thing and was in the exact same situation as you. And by the way, after this client success story, I will also share with you the key element that allowed them to do this, which you think is obvious, but I guarantee you don't know what it is. Works like magic, will blow your mind. But for now, let's focus on how this client saved his business. They helped musicians monetize their career. And what they were facing was they were completely out of time. It was a partnership between two guys. They were making between $100,000 to $150,000 a month, but their personal lives were suffering. And this was time to start hiring and scaling. And when they hired the appointment setter needed to be trained. But my client trained him a couple of times for a couple of weeks and then backed off and left the guy on his own. Now, an appointment setter is very different from a business owner. They do not have the same exposure and the same understanding of the market that the owner does. And keep in mind that no matter who you hire and how good they are, they can never replace selling the way you sell your own product because they don't understand your product the way you do. And so my client was expecting the setter to immediately shape up and start booking calls left, right, and center. And this was not happening. And so what I did was we created a 3-month program for him to train his appointment setter. And what this looked like literally was my client taking a look at all the DMs, booking calls with people, recording himself while doing all of that, and then later on sending it to the setter and training the setter to learn how he was doing it. And he was paying the setter too. In fact, at one point in time, he told me, yeah, I'm booking the calls, but I'm having to pay him per call. And I was like, that's exactly what business looks like. If you want people to stay with you, you have to put in the hard work to train them and incentivize them at the same time so that they can then turn into true patriots for your company and your mission and your vision, and then rise to higher levels with high amounts of integrity, which is literally what happened a couple of months later. Now he's super proud of the setter and he wants to promote him to start taking sales calls for him and start making even more money. And now my client has his time back because he doesn't need to be busy in the DMs. However, if he'd fired him in the first month and he hadn't been like water, where he was filling in the blanks and he was stepping in for where the setter was failing and he was recording himself and he was training the setter, none of this would have happened. In the beginning, I said, I don't want this to be just another nice to know motivational video that you watch and never take action on. And so this Bruce Lee quote is going to sum up everything for you. When Bruce Lee said, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. He was speaking directly to all of us striving for success. It's very easy to get caught up in plans within plans and projections and forecasts and copy and this, that, and the other. It's very hard to stick to the boring day-to-day execution, taking action on the tiny steps which seem inconsequential on that particular day, but lead to the bigger picture going forward. And so, true progress comes from taking action. What this means is implementing right now what I've taught you, even if it's taking tiny steps. Even if you take one action today based on this video, you've done a great job. Start by setting a tiny goal, a tiny objective, one single strategy that you're going to be executing every single day for the next 30 days. That in itself will surpass all your efforts that you've put prior to today. So it's actually the taking action part that's missing in your strategy. If you're serious about changing your life starting today, watch the video here where I teach you on how to press the reset button in your life. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. I upload every single week and I'd love to hear your feedback about what you found the most relevant in today's video. I'm Madhu here. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.